Welcome to our deep dive on prosperity and abundance. We're going way beyond, those get-rich-quick schemes.
Yeah,
And we're exploring the teachings of Charles Fillmore.
right.
We have some excerpts from his writings
Okay.
that offer a very different perspective on wealth.
Interesting.
One that connects it to spirituality,
Okay.
thought,
Mm.
and faith.
What's fascinating about Fillmore is that he challenges us to rethink our whole idea of prosperity.
Okay,
It's not just about money.
right.
It's about a state of mind, what he calls a rich consciousness.
A rich consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, that definitely piques my curiosity.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Think of it this way. Imagine a sheet of gold
Okay.
being hammered out into incredibly thin gold leaf. It can spread to cover a huge area,
Right.
but it's still made from that original valuable substance.
Okay.
Fillmore says that's what a rich consciousness is like.
Okay.
It's an expansive awareness of the infinite abundance of the universe. And crucially, your connection to it.
So it's not just about having a lot of money,
Right.
but about recognizing that there's a limitless source of good that we can all tap into.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this awareness, this rich consciousness,
Mhm.
is what allows for true generosity.
Right.
The kind that doesn't fear running out
Mm-hmm.
because you understand that the source is always there.
That's a pretty radical idea,
It is.
especially in a world that often feels very focused on scarcity.
And that brings us to another key concept in Fillmore's teachings.
Okay.
The distinction between substance and matter.
Okay, now we're getting into the metaphysical side of things.
Yeah.
I'll admit I'm a little fuzzy on what that difference really is.
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
You're baking a cake.
Right.
You have all the ingredients laid out on the counter: flour,
Mm-hmm.
sugar,
Okay.
eggs.
Yeah.
Those are the substance,
Okay.
the essential elements that the cake is made of.
Okay.
But at this point, they haven't taken form yet.
So the actual cake, once it's baked,
Right.
that would be the matter.
Precisely.
Right.
Matter is the physical manifestation, the
Right.
form that the substance takes.
Mm-hmm.
Fillmore takes this idea further
Okay.
and says that substance in a spiritual sense
Okay.
is the underlying invisible reality
Mm-hmm.
from which everything material springs.
Okay.
He even says that matter is just a tiny crack
Mm-hmm.
in the universal substance,
Ah,
like a little glimpse of the infinite potential that's always there.
that's a mind-blowing image.
Yeah,
So basically everything we see,
Hmm.
touch, experience,
right.
is just a tiny expression of this vast unseen realm of pure potential.
That's the essence of it.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really intriguing.
Okay.
Fillmore says our thoughts play a huge role in shaping this substance and bringing it into manifestation in the material world.
Hold on. Are you saying my thoughts can actually influence my financial well-being?
According to Fillmore, they absolutely can.
Really?
He argues that your thoughts are energy,
Yeah.
and they have a direct impact on how the universal substance takes form in your life.
So if I'm constantly worrying about bills,
Yeah.
I'm actually attracting more financial problems.
It's not quite as simple as think positive and get rich.
Okay.
But Fillmore would say that by focusing on lack, you're aligning your energy with lack,
Right.
and you're more likely to experience more of it.
So what's the alternative?
Right.
Just think happy thoughts about winning the lottery.
It's more about shifting your consciousness
Okay.
from a fear-based
Mm-hmm.
scarcity mindset
Right.
to one of abundance,
Okay.
gratitude,
Yeah.
and faith.
Fillmore talks a lot about faith, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
And for him, faith isn't just about blindly believing in something.
Right.
It's about trusting in the invisible laws of the universe
Mm.
and recognizing your connection to the infinite source of all good.
Okay.
It's this faith,
Yeah.
this deep inner knowing
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to tap into the power of abundance.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all ties together.
Good.
It's not about material possessions,
Right.
but about cultivating a certain state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
a consciousness of abundance
Yes.
that allows you to attract more of what you want.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that brings us to another fascinating idea. Fillmore explores
Yeah.
the concept of the hilarious giver.
Okay.
He suggests that giving is just as important as receiving
Interesting.
when it comes to prosperity.
But isn't that counterintuitive?
Yeah.
Shouldn't I be focusing on getting more,
Right?
not giving more?
That's the common assumption, right?
Right.
But Fillmore suggests a radical shift in perspective.
Okay.
To understand it better, let's take a look at how he interprets the story of the prodigal son.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's not the usual take on that parable.
right.
He's not focusing on the moral lessons of the story.
Not in this context.
Okay.
He's highlighting the part where the father welcomes his son back with new clothing and a ring. He sees those as symbols of prosperity,
Right.
of abundance being restored.
I see.
Okay.
So it's about the father's overflowing generosity.
Exactly.
Even when his son had squandered everything.
Yes,
He gives freely without fear of depletion.
exactly.
And this ties in with the idea of the hilarious giver.
Right.
Okay, I'm really curious now.
Sure.
What makes giving hilarious?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
When you give something away,
Yeah.
especially something you value, there's often a bit of hesitation,
Right.
a fear of losing something.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Like,
know.
what if I need that later?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the hilarious giver is someone who's so connected to that infinite source of abundance that they give freely,
Right.
joyfully,
Yeah.
without any fear of lack.
Wow.
They're almost laughing at the idea of holding back
Mhm.
because they know there's always more where that came from.
That's a powerful image. It's like they're in on a cosmic joke that most people don't get.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And this joyful, fearless giving
Mm-hmm.
actually becomes a magnet for even more abundance.
So it's not about giving out of obligation or guilt,
Right.
but out of a genuine overflow of abundance.
Precisely.
Okay.
And Fillmore takes it a step further
Okay.
and says that this principle of giving
Mm-hmm.
isn't just about material things.
Right.
He talks about love as a magnet for prosperity.
So it's not just about thinking the right thoughts.
Right.
It's about cultivating the right feelings, too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fillmore believes that love is the most powerful force in the universe.
Wow.
It dissolves fear,
Yeah.
which, as we've discussed, can block the flow of abundance.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
When you're operating from a place of fear,
Mm-hmm.
you tend to hold back,
Right.
contract.
Yeah.
But when you're feeling love and gratitude,
Right.
you're more open and receptive to the flow of good things.
You got it.
Okay.
And this is where faith comes in once again.
Mm.
Fillmore emphasizes its crucial role in attracting prosperity.
Okay.
He sees it as the link between that invisible substance
Right.
and its manifestation in the material world.
So it's not enough to just sit back and wish for things to happen.
Right.
I have to actively believe they will.
Fillmore talks about a seeking faith,
Okay.
a faith that actively attracts opportunities and solutions.
Right.
It's not about blind faith in material things,
Okay.
but about having faith in God, in that infinite source of abundance that we've been talking about.
He offers some pretty specific advice on
Yeah.
how to actually cultivate this prosperity consciousness, right?
Does.
Like using affirmations and practicing positive self-talk.
Absolutely.
Does Fillmore have any specific recommendations?
We'll dive into those after a quick break,
Okay.
including a really interesting technique that involves blessing everything you have,
Right.
even your money.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we've been talking about cultivating a rich consciousness, understanding the difference between substance and matter, and the power of thoughts and faith to shape our reality.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in,
Sure.
but it's incredibly fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Fillmore also has some very specific techniques
Right.
we can use to put all of this into practice.
You done it?
I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
Where do we start?
Well, one technique Fillmore recommends might surprise you.
Okay.
He suggests blessing everything you have,
All right.
including your money.
What, bless my money?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little, odd?
It might seem unusual at first,
Okay.
but it's actually a very powerful practice.
Really?
Think about it. When we bless something,
Yeah.
we're acknowledging its inherent goodness, its
Yeah.
potential for growth and expansion.
So even if I only have a few dollars in my wallet,
Right.
I should bless it
Yeah,
and see it as a seed of abundance.
exactly.
Okay.
Because that simple act shifts your consciousness from lack to gratitude,
Right.
from scarcity to the potential for increase. It's about changing your vibration to attract more of what you want.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like I'm acknowledging that even this small amount is a part of that infinite abundance we've been talking about.
You got it.
Okay.
And this act of blessing also helps to break down any negative beliefs you might have about money,
Okay.
like the idea that it's evil or
Right.
that only certain people are meant to be wealthy.
Fillmore also talks a lot about the importance of avoiding negative conversations about lack, right?
He does.
Yeah.
Because those conversations just reinforce the belief in scarcity.
Right.
They keep you trapped in a cycle of lack.
So instead of complaining about my financial problems,
Right.
I should be focusing on what I'm grateful for
Yeah,
and affirming the abundance that's already present in my life.
exactly.
But what if I'm surrounded by people who are constantly talking about lack?
Right.
It can be hard to stay positive in that environment.
That's a good point. And it's definitely a challenge.
Right.
But remember, you have the power to choose your thoughts and words.
Okay.
You can gently steer the conversation in a more positive direction,
Right.
or simply choose not to engage in those negative discussions.
So it's about taking responsibility for my own energy and not letting myself get dragged down by other people's negativity.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good.
What about affirmations?
Okay.
I know a lot of self-help gurus talk about those.
Yeah?
Does Fillmore have any specific recommendations?
He does.
Okay.
He's a big advocate for the power of the spoken word.
Hmm.
He believes that by consciously choosing words that align with abundance,
Yeah.
we can actually shift our reality.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts,
Right.
but about speaking them out loud.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because when you speak something aloud,
Yeah.
you're putting that energy out into the universe. You're
Yeah.
declaring your intention.
What kind of affirmations would Fillmore recommend?
He often emphasizes the importance of using I am consciousness we talked about earlier.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Tapping into that divine nature,
Mm-hmm.
that connection to the source of all creation.
Exactly.
So instead of saying, I want to be wealthy,
Yeah,
I could say, I am wealthy.
Right.
Even if my bank account doesn't reflect that yet.
precisely.
Okay.
It's about aligning your words with the truth of abundance,
Right.
even if the outer circumstances haven't caught up yet.
Okay. I'm willing to try it.
Good.
What about visualization?
Go
Does
ahead.
Fillmore talk about that as well?
He does.
Okay.
He calls it imaging
All right.
and considers it a key technique for demonstrating prosperity.
Okay.
He compares it to the way an architect creates a blueprint before building a house.
So before we can manifest something in the physical world,
Right.
we need to create a clear mental picture of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's important to do this with feeling, with
Mhm.
conviction.
Right.
Fillmore would say to imagine yourself already living in that state of abundance,
Okay.
to really feel the joy and gratitude that comes with it.
It's like I'm creating a movie in my mind,
Yeah,
a preview of the life I want to live.
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the more you focus on that vision,
Mm-hmm.
the more you're aligning your energy with it,
Right.
and the more likely it is to manifest in your reality.
Okay. I'm starting to understand the power of these techniques,
Good.
but it still feels a little abstract.
Sure.
How does all of this connect to actually taking action in the real world?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Fillmore doesn't advocate just sitting around and visualizing all day.
Right.
He emphasizes that we need to work with the law of abundance
Okay.
to take inspired action when opportunities present themselves.
So it's a combination of inner work and outer action.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Think of it this way.
Right.
The inner work,
Mm-hmm.
the affirmations,
Right.
the visualizations,
Okay.
the blessings.
Yeah.
That's all about aligning your energy with the vibration of abundance.
Okay.
And then the outer action is about following the guidance you receive,
Mm-hmm.
taking the steps that are presented to you.
So the inner work creates the magnetic pull,
Right.
and the outer action allows the abundance to flow into my experience.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's about being a co-creator with the universe.
That's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
Sure.
Is there anything else Fillmore suggests we can do
Hmm.
to enhance this co-creative process?
He actually lays out a really interesting framework
Okay.
for working with this creative power,
Right.
drawing a fascinating parallel to the biblical account of creation.
Wait, is he talking about the 7 days of creation in Genesis?
Yeah.
How does that relate to prosperity?
It's an intriguing comparison.
Okay.
He suggests that we can apply the same principles that God used to create the world to our own lives,
Wow.
using our thoughts and faith to manifest our desires.
Okay. I'm really intrigued now.
Good. Fillmore sees each of those days as a step in the creative process, right?
Precisely.
Okay.
And it all starts with the declaration, "Let there be light,"
Mm-hmm.
which he interprets as understanding.
Okay.
We need to first illuminate our minds with the truth of abundance,
Right.
with the recognition that God or universal mind is the source of all supply.
So that's step 1, understanding the principle.
Right.
What's step 2?
It's establishing a firmament,
Okay.
a firm foundation in our minds
Mm-hmm.
by affirming this truth.
So basically solidifying our belief that abundance is real
Exactly.
and that it's available to us.
It's about moving from a shaky, uncertain belief
right.
to a deep knowing,
Mm.
a firm conviction.
What about step 3?
The third step is to let the dry land appear.
Okay.
Fillmore suggests this represents the formation of our desires into tangible forms through the power of imagination.
So this is where visualization comes into play, right?
Exactly.
We use our minds to create a clear picture of what we want to manifest.
And this step is crucial
Okay.
because it gives our desires a specific form.
Right.
But he emphasizes that this step comes after understanding and faith.
Okay.
We can't just visualize our way to prosperity
Right.
without first establishing a solid foundation in truth and belief.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's not about wishful thinking.
right.
It's about a deliberate process of aligning our thoughts and actions with the law of abundance.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have understanding, faith, and
Yeah.
visualization.
Right.
What's next?
The next step, let the waters bring forth abundantly,
Okay.
represents the release of our desires into the universal substance.
So it's about surrendering our will to the divine will,
Exactly.
trusting that the universe will orchestrate the details of our manifestation.
This is where we let go of trying to control every little detail.
Right.
And trust that the universe has a bigger plan.
That can be hard sometimes,
It can.
that letting go.
Yeah.
Especially when you really want something.
It can be challenging.
Right.
But it's essential for allowing the abundance to flow freely.
Okay.
Trusting the process is key. And that brings us to the fifth step. Let the earth bring forth,
Okay.
which represents the manifestation of our desires into the physical realm.
So this is where things start to take shape in the outer world.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about taking inspired action,
Right.
following the guidance and opportunities that present themselves as our desires begin to materialize.
So it's not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
Right.
It's about being proactive and taking aligned action.
Exactly.
Okay.
The inner work sets the stage, and then the outer action allows the manifestation to unfold.
Okay. I'm really starting to get the hang of this framework.
Sure.
What are the last 2 steps?
Well, the sixth step is, let us make man in our image.
Okay.
And Fillmore suggests this represents the culmination of the creative process, the realization of our full potential as divine beings.
Wow. That's a beautiful way to look at it. So it's not just about manifesting material wealth,
Right.
but about becoming the best versions of ourselves, expressing our unique gifts and talents in the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this brings us to the seventh day, the day of rest, where we cease from our labors and allow the universe to complete the manifestation.
So it's about trusting the process.
Right.
Knowing that we've done our part, and now we can relax and allow the abundance to flow into our lives.
Exactly.
We've planted the seed, nurtured it,
Yeah.
and now it's time to let it grow.
Right.
This is such a brilliant framework for understanding how to work with the creative power of the universe.
It is.
It takes all those abstract concepts
Yeah.
and gives them a practical structure we can actually apply in our lives.
Right.
But I do have one question that's been nagging at me.
Yeah.
If this law of abundance is so real,
Yeah.
if it's like gravity, as you mentioned earlier, why do so many people still struggle financially? If this creative process is available to everyone,
Yeah.
why aren't we all experiencing abundance?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that Fillmore addresses in his writings.
Okay.
He emphasizes that while the universe is infinitely abundant and this creative power is available to everyone,
Right.
we also have free will.
So we have the choice to align ourselves with this law or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like electricity.
Okay.
It's always there,
Right.
but you have to plug into the source to access it.
Right.
The same is true for abundance.
Okay.
We have to consciously choose to align our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with this universal law.
So it's not about blame or feeling like there's something wrong with me if I'm
Right.
not experiencing abundance. It's about recognizing that I have the power to choose a different path,
Yeah.
to shift my perspective and start aligning myself with the flow of prosperity.
That's a powerful insight.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that this journey is a process. It's an unfolding. We don't have to have it all figured out right away.
Right.
It's about taking small steps,
Okay.
experimenting with these principles, and seeing what works for us.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It has.
I'm feeling so inspired to start applying these principles in my own life.
Good.
But before we wrap up,
Okay.
I'm curious to know,
Sure.
what are some of the ways that Fillmore suggests we can use this abundance
Yeah?
to benefit not just ourselves, but also the world around us?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that gets to the heart of Fillmore's teachings.
Okay.
He believes that true prosperity isn't just about accumulating wealth for ourselves.
Right.
It's about using it to express our divine potential and to make a positive impact on the world.
So it's not about being selfish or hoarding resources.
Exactly.
It's about sharing the abundance and using it for good.
Precisely.
Okay.
We'll dive into that right after a quick break.
Okay. So we were just talking about how true prosperity goes beyond personal gain.
Right.
It's about using that abundance to make a difference in the world.
Yes.
I'd love to unpack that a bit more.
Sure.
How does Fillmore suggest we approach that aspect of prosperity?
Fillmore believes that when we align ourselves with the law of abundance, we become conduits for divine blessings,
Okay.
channels for the flow of prosperity into the world.
So it's not a selfish pursuit.
Fun.
It's a spiritual practice that benefits everyone.
Precisely.
Okay.
And it all goes back to that idea of rich consciousness we discussed earlier.
Right.
When you truly understand that the source of abundance is infinite,
Yeah.
there's no need to hoard or compete.
Right.
There's enough for everyone.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you believe in scarcity, you're likely to hold on tightly to what you have.
Right.
But if you understand that abundance is the natural order of things,
Yeah.
you're more likely to share it freely.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Fillmore suggests that this sharing, this generosity,
Right.
actually amplifies the flow of prosperity.
So the more we give,
Yeah.
the more we receive.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And it's not just about giving money.
Right.
It's about giving our time, our talent,
Okay.
our love,
Yeah.
our energy.
Okay.
It's about being a blessing to others in whatever way we can.
It's about recognizing that we all have unique gifts to share,
Right.
and that by expressing those gifts,
Yeah,
we contribute to the collective good.
exactly.
Okay.
And Fillmore believes that when we do this,
Mm-hmm.
when we use our prosperity to serve others,
Right.
we align ourselves even more fully with the divine flow of abundance.
It's like we become a part of something bigger than ourselves,
Yes.
a force for positive change in the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And this brings us back to that powerful concept of the I am consciousness. Remember, when we declare I am,
Yeah.
we're not just affirming our individual existence.
Right.
We're tapping into that universal consciousness,
Okay.
the source of all power and creativity.
So we're not just creating our own reality,
Right.
but we're also contributing to the creation of a better world for everyone.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Fillmore believes that this co-creative power is amplified
Yeah.
when we use it for the benefit of others.
That's a truly inspiring thought.
It is.
It suggests that prosperity isn't just about personal gain.
Right.
It's about our collective evolution, about creating a world where everyone can thrive.
You got it.
Okay.
And this brings us full circle to Fillmore's core message.
Right.
Prosperity is a spiritual principle that can be understood and applied through right thinking,
Okay.
faith,
Yeah.
and action.
It's about recognizing our inherent worthiness, our connection to the infinite source of abundance,
Yeah.
and using that understanding to create a life of joy, fulfillment, and service.
This has been such an incredible deep dive into Fillmore's teachings.
It has.
I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on prosperity.
Me too.
One that goes far beyond the material and touches on the very essence of who we are and what we're here to do.
Absolutely. And I encourage you, dear listener, to take these ideas and explore them further.
Yes.
Delve into Fillmore's writings, experiment with the techniques we've discussed, and see how these principles can transform your own life
Yeah.
and ripple out to create a more abundant world for everyone.
Absolutely.
What if, as Fillmore suggests, poverty is not a necessary condition,
Right.
but a choice based on a limited understanding of our true nature?
It's a powerful thought.
It is.
Yeah.
What if abundance in all its forms is our birthright,
Yeah.
just waiting to be claimed? Until next time, keep diving deep. And remember, your prosperity is only limited by your imagination and your willingness to believe.
Well said.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It would be a great source of help to maintain and develop this channel and the correlated website. This book overview was presented to you by olbooksummary.com. Are you interested in more insights into personal development books or motivational and inspirational books? Please visit olbooksummary.com and you will find a library of the most helpful self-development and human character development books overviews. See you soon with the next books overview video.